So let's do a quick little review of the characteristics of an ellipse. So it looks kind of like an egg. The equation, you're going to have always x squared over something plus y squared over something, and it has to equal 1. So then the a is always the bigger number. So a squared, if it's under the x squared, then you know it's going to be wide. And if it's under the y squared, it's going to be tall. So then if the a squared is underneath your x, then the a's go in the x place and the b's go in the y. Or if it's the opposite, if your a squared is under the y's, then you know that the a goes in the y spot and the b goes in the x spot. And to find the foci, we do c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So if the center of the equation is plus, like that, then we know that this is going to be minus. Okay, so to write the graph, we're going to write the equation in, that's not the right thing. We're going to write the equation in standard form. We're going to determine the a and the b, determine if it's horizontal or vertical. We're going to plot the vertices and covertices, and we're going to find the foci using c squared equals a squared minus b squared. Now I went through that way too fast, but you can pause the video. So we did this example in the last video. Now let's go here. Draw the ellipse given by this. Okay. So I decide, is this going to be wide or tall? I know it's going to be wide. My a is going to be 9. Do you see it? So that means if I start at 0, 0, I'm going to go 9 to the left and 9 to the right. So I know my vertices are at 9, 0 and 0, 9. Then I'm going to do my co-vertices. So B is 5. So that means I go 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my co-vertices are going to be at 0, 5 and 0, negative 5. Therefore, so I can now pretty much draw this, but I also want to have, what are my foci? Well, my foci are going to be the a squared minus b squared, so 81 minus 25 equals c squared. This one doesn't come out as nicely, does it? So 81 minus 20 is 61 minus 5, so 56. So plus or minus square root of 56. Now, just as good practice, because there are just so many skills that it's good to know, and so we just practice them when they come up. I think 4 goes into 56. 16. I don't know. 4 times 1. 4 times 14. Oh yeah, because 4 times 13 is 52. Okay, so that means this is actually, C is plus or minus 2 root 14. And if you're like, 2 root 14, how is that even helpful? Well, then I just grab my handy dandy calculator and I see what that is decimal wise because I'm graphing it. So C is about 7.5-ish, plus or minus. And so then I have to decide, is that up and down or side to side? Well, since I'm going, since it's wider, my foci are wide, so 7.5-ish, 0, and negative 7.5-ish, 0. So 7.5 is about here and about here. And then I just go and do the best I can to draw a nice little ellipse. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Next slide. Draw the ellipse given by that. Oh gosh, it is not equal to 1 yet, and you can't do it if it's not equal to 1. Whatever will I do? I'm just going to divide everything by 100. Because 100 divided by 100 is 1. Now it just so happens that 4 and 100 can simplify. So I get x squared over 25 plus y squared over 4. You're like, how did that happen? Pause the video and figure out why that's true. So I know that A is 5, B is 2. So, I don't know what colors we use. My vertices. See how it's going to be wider in the x direction. 5, 0, negative 5, 0. And then my co-vertices are going to be at 0, 2, 0, negative 2. So let's put those in. And then, so I could, if I wanted to, just go and draw that. Okay, but then I gotta find my foci. So foci, I've got c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So c squared equals 25 minus 4. So that's c squared equals 21 square root plus or minus. So my foci are at square root of 21, 0, negative square root of 21, 0. But if I'm going to graph that, square root of 21 is somewhere between 4 and 5. About 4.6. So, you will notice after a while that the closer the foci is to the outside, that kind of shows you something interesting that happens inside of your graph. So there you go. Coming up next, we will write some equations.